Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in to Wisbit's Random Gaming today. Now, before we get into today's main video, I'd just like to bring to your attention our growing page over at Facebook, where we post deal of the day, random retro games, and retro gaming news, all sorts of memes and fun as well. I'd love to see you guys over there, so if you can take the time, come on over, join the group. You're more than welcome, and I hope you enjoy your time there. And also, before we get into today's video, just to let you know, I've just recently become a YouTube partner and I have set up memberships. The memberships are extremely low and you can support the channel from as little as 99 pence a month. All proceeds will go into giveaways for the channel. Anyway, let's get into today's video. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Wisbit's Random Gaming. And I'm not straying too far from home today. We're heading down to my local in Romford just to see what they've got. Now, I've not filmed down here for a little while, but I always do tend to pick something up from this branch. It is pretty good in terms of what they get in, so I'm hoping to find something a little bit unusual today, as to be honest, when looking at stuff like the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, it is very generic out there at the moment, and I'm not seeing stuff that is a little bit more unusual, and that's kind of what I'm looking for today. So fingers crossed, let's hope I find something to add to the collection. Now, I do love a good fight stick, and I have no idea if that is a good fight stick. There is so many variants out there these days that I don't know. I don't really play with a fight stick anymore. I've migrated to a control pad. We've seen 2 copies of Deadpool there, one on the Xbox, one on the PlayStation 4, and here we have, it looks like a Super Scope, but a very small one. And here's the original joystick, the NES Advantage. Had this as a child, absolutely loved it. I don't know if it was actually better than using a control pad, but it felt better. It felt like it was big time when you had an NES Advantage. Now, what in the name of a Conor Ben omelette is this thing? Now let's head straight inside and see what's on offer. Now, this particular branch always has a really good variation of consoles, as you can see here. Some minis, some SPs, some Evercades, PlayStation 1s, and a nice Mega Drive there, turned sideways for nice aesthetical reasons. Well, that's what I'm going to go with. Now, the Romford branch does tend to stack their sort of more expensive games at the back of the cabinet. A little bit more difficult to see sometimes, but let's try and work out what we've got here. Now, you can see Killer is Dead there. That's one I do need to pick up at some point. Not really in the market for it today. Might go back to it. We've got a couple of Gears of War Xbox 360 control pads here. I really like those. The 360 control pad is such a great control pad for me personally. You can totally see why PC users are still using that particular control pad to this day. Now, I had my kids with me whilst we was out and about. They was having a look at some games, but my boy is after a new Xbox One type control pad. Nothing in here he really likes. He's after a Pro one. And if I'm totally honest, I don't think I would buy an Xbox One type controller from CEX. The prices they charge are pretty much what you can get the same control pads for brand new. I've told him this and he actually quite understands it for once, rather than being your typical child that just wants something now. PlayStation Portal there. Now, I'd love to know CEX's way of grading the portals, because I've seen different prices all over the shop. Now, you've got the original PlayStation 1 edition of the PlayStation 5 controller there at £110. Now, I love that controller. I think it looks fantastic. But I'm not going to be buying it at that price, especially unboxed. Do those console fan callers genuinely work? Absolute tat. I need to find some of these things for like 10 pence if they're giving credit for them at CEX. Now you can see here we've got a good selection of PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 stuff as well. And again, unfortunately, it's kind of hidden in the back. So unless you kind of know the branch, you're not really going to know where to look for this kind of stuff. Good selection of Mega Drive stuff there, some Evercade stuff, and a really good selection of Game Boy stuff, although it is unboxed. Now, a really obscure Game Gear game there, if you might have seen it. It's that elephant game. I can't quite remember the name. Let me know in the comments. I know I've got it on Evercade, actually. It is a Codemasters game, and their cartridges were always quite different, a different shape to what the normal was. On the NES, on the Game Gear. Now, as you can see here, there's some really good games here today in these glass cabinets. And that is one thing I will always say about my local. They do always have a really good selection. Now, someone looks to have traded in a whole load of Wii U games here today. There's one or two that I need, although I'm not really looking to pick up anything Wii U based today. Working with limited vouchers. So, yeah, and I'm also kind of not taking a break per se from the Wii U, but I want to enjoy the journey of collecting for it. I'm in no rush. I'm aiming to try and get it done, the full set, by 2025. I hope I don't regret leaving anything behind today. Now, an absolutely huge selection of Nintendo Wii stuff. And you've got to dig deep, especially in this particular branch. Like I say, the Wii is full of shovelware, but there's some real bangers on there if you look hard enough. I know I've found some absolute hidden gems in this particular branch before, when just scouring around on the Wii section. Yeah, of course, you're going to get absolute tat like this, your Just Dances, all the Lego games as well, which aren't actually tat. They're good games, but you know, they're very common. Now, here's a little fun fact. Super Mario Galaxy 2. I've owned it for years and I've never actually played it. I guess I'm kind of hoping that Nintendo bring out a remastered version of that, similar to what they did with the original Super Mario Galaxy. Because, I don't know, I'm not really keen on playing it with the whole motion control and the nunchucks. I know it's going to be a good game. It's Super Mario Galaxy. The first one's brilliant, even using those controls. Let me know in the comments, should I jump on that? Should I get on Super Mario Galaxy sooner rather than later? Now, I haven't bought too much recently for the Xbox 360, and I'm hoping that I can find something today to add to the collection. Although going through the whole wall of duty, as you can see here, chances are looking slim at this point. Now, I'm actively looking for the Fear files. It's the only Fear game I don't own. I have passed on it before when in this branch, hoping it would come down in price. That doesn't seem like it's going to be happening anytime soon. So the next time that I see that game out and about, I'm definitely going to be picking it up. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, we are looking at the games in alphabetical order, which means that Fear Files not here today. Now, I recently picked this one up and traded off, or gave to my friend my original copy of Stranglehold. It's gone up in price. It was £6, and quite often you see that steelbook and it's in really bad condition. I'm happy to say that you see it here today. Really nice condition. So if you are in and around the Romford area, hop in, see if you can pick that one up. It's in really good condition, and Stranglehold is a really underrated game. Now, if there's anything out there that can compete with the Wall of Duty, it's Assassin's Creed. Now, I was talking with my friend James a little while ago about the PS3 collecting journey, and there's definitely a few out there I still like to pick up. We both agreed we're probably quite close to being at the end of buying for the PS3. We've pretty much got what we want on it, apart from a select few games that don't turn up too often. Now, that Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe, that got absolutely slaughtered, didn't it, upon release? And I think a lot of that was down to the no blood being used because of the whole DC Universe and that kind of thing, not really wanting to promote that kind of game. But you know what? Playing the game is actually not bad. I had a lot of fun with that game. The story, as wacky as it was quite entertaining. If you don't own that particular game, I'd highly suggest picking it up if you can get it at a cheap price. Now over to the PlayStation 2, and as you've seen, a lot of the really good PlayStation 2 stuff does tend to end up in the window. A lot of the tat ends up on the shelf and things like that. Dr. Life, I have no idea if that's a good game. I'm going to use my instincts and I'm going to say it's terrible. I'm sure someone out there is going to let me know about that game and tell me if I'm wrong. Now, here's a game I've never seen before, Freaky Flyers. It looks like, I had a quick look at the back of it, it looks like it's some kind of Diddy Kong Racing type clone. £12, probably doesn't seem too bad value, but I've no idea if it's any good. I'm going to consider that one today. Now, another fun fact, I do not own any Jack games, and I also own no Ratchet and Clank games. I have done in the past. In my current incarnation of my collection, I own not a single title in any of those franchises. That's going to change. I'm going to start buying the games for those franchises soon. Could be today if I don't find anything that I'm looking for. I definitely want to walk out of here with at least one, maybe two games today, and at least I know I've got those titles to fall back on. The Jak and Daxter series and the Ratchet and Clank. They're always in stock in most CEXs. Maybe not all of the titles in each of the respective franchises, but you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to start off a collection for at least one of them with one single visit to the CEX store. Now, it's a really good time to be buying for the PlayStation 4. Prices, in my opinion, are probably an all-time low. I don't think they're going to get much lower than what they are. If anything, they might start to increase at some point. So I'm always looking out to see if there's anything I want. I like to look for the more obscure stuff. And yeah, it's really difficult to find that stuff in your local CEX stores. Now, I like to buy things like shmups, fighting games, beat 'em ups, that kind of thing. And there's not a heavy abundance of those kind of titles on the system. Well, not mainstream wise anyway. Now over to my current favourite system, the Nintendo Switch. I love my Nintendo Switch collection. Probably looking around about 120 to 130 games that I've got on it currently. I've made the decision to no longer trade and swap or sell Nintendo Switch games. There's definitely a few regrets I've had in the past when moving some of the games on that I didn't like initially and that I wish I had kept hold of. So definitely always on the lookout to pick something up on the Switch. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If I go out and I come home with at least one Nintendo Switch game, it's a good day. Got Donkey Kong Country Returns HD there. I've recently just got back into that game. When I first picked it up upon release, I had a lot of fun with it. I was getting into, I probably was on level 4 or 5. It's one of those games that I've just picked back up and I've really got back into it easily. I'm back on it and I'm on level world 6 now, I think. I think there's about 8 worlds. So yeah, really enjoying that game. Not sure if it's worth the money that it goes for, but it's a fun time nevertheless. Now that Ghostbusters cover there, that screams a lack of image rights, hence the back of the heads of all of the Ghostbusters. Pretty dead section if I'm totally honest here with the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X selection. Nothing I really fancied here today. Now there's 2 games I want, Alone in the Dark and Alan Wake 2. Now the Alan Wake 2 on the PlayStation 5 still standing tall at £50, whereas the Xbox version has come down to a more respectable £38 currently. Now that Predator cover is fantastic. I've been picking that up today, but my good friend James, he recently grabbed a copy of that for me and sent it over. Shout out to James for that one, very generous, and I can only say thank you for that. Well, I can't thank you enough. It's a great gift, and I have a game winging its way to you, sir. Now I said I'd be digging deep in that Xbox 360 collection today, and dig deep I did. Now I managed to find this game that you rarely see in a CEX, and that's Under Defeat HD on the Xbox 360. I've got this one pre-ordered on the Switch and it's coming very soon. However, I don't own it on the 360, and at £15, this brilliant shmup was never going to be left in store. Right, so I cheated a little bit today. I didn't feel that I'd got enough out of that particular store today. So I had to go and pick up something from Argos, And I noticed that Argos had a sale on, and they was actually giving 20% off with certain codes on some of the games that was already on sale. Now this one, Sonic Origins, I've been looking at this for some time, but didn't really want to pay the £25 sort of asking price. Now Argos, with the codes, it ended up at around about £12.99. Now I'm really happy with this, brand new, sealed, and it's got a lovely cover. So yeah, happy with this one. Little bit of a cheat, didn't get it from CEX, but I got it on the same day. Anyway guys, thank you for watching the video as always. That was my local branch, Romford, in April 2025. Always a good selection in this particular shop. You'll definitely pick up something if you go in there. They've got a great range of consoles, great range of games from all the systems. I mean, I've got quite a few games. I don't have the biggest collection in the world, but when I go in there, I do struggle. And that's not down to the shop itself. That's just me being a little bit more fussy in this day and age. Anyway, guys, thanks again, and I'll see you on the next video.